Welcome back to the Culture Distinct Podcast. Your boy DJ KO. You know, normally I don't want to do this introductory, but I got to do it. So we in this thing. I appreciate you guys for tuning back into the show. It's always a special time, always a special place to do some special things. It is what it is. Before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsors, 605 Infused Beverages. You know what it is. If you had it, you had it. If you don't, you need to get it. Now they have the peach flavor. They're going to get the strawberry, and for the summer, they're going to get the watermelon. So, guys, make sure if you want to infuse beverage, you don't want to smoke it, but you want to drink it, this is the best beverage to get. You can hit the guys up at ALP6 on Instagram, on all social media platforms. Hit them up. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. I want you guys to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, to tell a friend, you need to tell a friend. Today, we have a special show for you guys today. Just in case you didn't know, it's a craze been going on. I ain't gonna say a craze, but it's been going on for the last, say, 7, 8 years, right? We talking plastic surgery here, right? And, you know, last week we was talking to my homegirl. Shout out to Shinda. Was talking about fitness and staying in shape and doing it the hard way. And she kind of disagreed with what we're going to talk about today. So that's why I had to bring up the owner, operator of Opulent Kare up here, Miss Keri White. Shout out to Keri. How you doing, Keri?
I'm good. How are you, Adam?
Oh, I'm awesome. Let me give you a hand clap. Hold on, I got to give you a hand clap. So, before we get started with that, we're talking to you, Keri, to piggyback off of what Shinda was like, you know, we want you to do it the hard way. We want you to go in the gym 2 hours a day, eat right, no sugar, doing all that. So I said, so does that work for everybody? And she was like, yes. I said, no, I don't believe so. So before we get in that conversation, I wanted to introduce you. Keri, tell the people who you are.
So as Adam so lovely said, I am Keri White. I am the owner of Opulent Kare. We are a boutique aftercare company located here in Houston, Texas. So we primarily deal with cosmetic surgery clients. When you discharge home, you always need someone to take care of you. So we are skilled, so nursing MAs. We come in to take care of you in your home, your Airbnb, or your hotel. So I've been in business 3 years this year. Praise God, praise God, praise God. And so that's what we do. I've been a nurse 16 years. And I'm just taking my personal experience as a plastic surgery patient, and then my professional nursing experience, and I'm giving all the love out to my plastic surgery clients.
Shout out. So why is there a fascination with plastic surgery? Have you had plastic surgery before?
I've had several surgeries.
Okay.
I had several. My most recent was in March of this year. I can't necessarily say that there's a fascination with plastic surgery. Plastic surgery has been around for years and years. So I don't think that there's a fascination with it. I think that there's probably an increased focus on it because of social media. I think people are becoming more vocal about the procedures that they're having. It's not considered taboo anymore, especially in our community. At one particular point in time, people didn't want you to know that they were having surgery. I think now, with your social media influencers and your celebrities and things of that nature, people are just more forthcoming about the procedures that they're having. So people are more likely to talk about what's happening behind closed doors. I don't think that there is an increase or a craziness. I think that there is just more light being placed on it at this point in time.
So while you being the owner of Opulent Kare, first of all, what does opulent mean?
Luxurious.
Luxurious.
Yes.
Even though I'm an HBCU grad, guys, my vocabulary level is, opulent. So it's luxury.
So we are a luxury. Care. We are a luxury aftercare provider. So when you think about Houston, Houston is really on the map when it comes to plastic surgery. People always think Dominica, Columbia, Miami, right? But you have a lot of really good, notable plastic surgeons right here in Houston. I have clients traveling in from all over the world for some of the doctors that are located here in Houston. And so when you think about aftercare, just like you think about cosmetic surgery, you think about it like as a mall. There's something for everybody.
Right.
You got your Palais Royal. You got your Sears, your Pennies, your Macy's, your Dillards. You got your Nordstroms, your Saks. And for me, I'm a Nordstrom Saks kind of girl. And so when I did my branding, I thought about having a more elevated experience. And so when you think about Opulent, you think about having a more elevated recovery experience. So I think recovery is all about the experience. You can have the best plastic surgeon, in the world, but if you go home and you got your brother, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin taking care of you, and they have no idea what they're doing, you can have the worst aftercare experience. So we pride ourselves on being able to give you a phenomenal experience from the time we pick you up from the surgery center till you return home.
Okay, so I want to get into that. So now, I have surgery. I say I'm a woman. Some are transgender.
I have men too, and
Okay.
I have transgender clients.
Some are transgender, right? And I had the reversal. No. The BBD. BBD. No, I had a
Come on.
BBL, right?
You got your BBL.
I had the butt lift or whatever. Yeah, the infusion, whatever it is.
The transfer.
Transfer. And I can't sit down,
No, you cannot.
right? So, but I need somebody to care for me. So I can't go home and my significant other, my sister, she can't care for me?
They can with some education.
Okay.
So we have two types of clients. So we have our accompanied clients, that mean they're traveling in or they're local and they have family or friends that we can come in and we can educate that family member on what they need to do to be able to safely provide care for you in your home, right? And then we have our people that are traveling in alone. There's nobody to teach, so we're just teaching that particular client. So yes, your mama, whomever, they can take care of you. Of course they can. However, I strongly discourage them from taking care of you if they have no experience. So we will come in and we take care of you, but we also educate your family members on what they need to do when we leave. So I kind of train them as like my little mini medical assistants in the home. And that way, that carryover, the education is there, because you might be in Houston for 10 days,
Right.
but you still have to go back home. If you're doing a BBL, you're still going to be wearing compression garments three plus months from now. So there are things that we're going to educate you on that you still have to go home with so that you can be able to adequately and safely recover once you get home. So there's the educational component there too.
So I want to ask this question, because some people, some women or men, they want to have surgery. Or they want to have a procedure, but they're afraid of, like you said, the aftercare, the recovery. So by coming to Opulent Care, what could they look forward to?
So we take some of that worry and that stress away.
Okay.
I think that whether you're having plastic surgery or knee surgery, there's always going to be a level of apprehension there, right? Because you just don't know. Right? Even with my own procedure, I've been running this company for almost 3 years. When I had my last procedure in March, I was terrified, because I think as humans, you're supposed to have those emotions. That shows that you're human. The benefit of having a reputable aftercare provider is that they know. We know what to expect when we get in the home. So prime example. You're a Lipo 360 BBL client, right? And you had some lipo of the arms. We pick you up day one. We're bringing you home to your family member. We pick you up from the surgery center. We take you to your massage, depending on who your surgeon is. We get you home. You passed out 3 times before you even hit the front door.
Wow. Why?
Orthostatic hypertension.
So they have high blood pressure.
So they have low blood pressure.
Low blood pressure.
So when
okay.
you think about liposuction, you have to think about all of the fat that the doctor's removing, all of the fat, all of the liquid, the tumescent that he's putting in, everything that he's pulling out. So your body goes through fluid shifts, right? So any average person, you getting your girlfriend out of the car and she passed out, you trying to send her to the hospital because she done passed out. It's completely normal for us. So what we're going to do is we do what we do. We get them in the house. We get them safely. We get them safely in the house. We get them settled. And then we start the education with the family. What's normal, what's abnormal, when to worry, when not to worry. They're leaking everywhere. They stand up and you got that gush of blood that's flowing everywhere. It looks like a murder scene. First thing they're thinking is, oh my God, she's dying. I have to call the ambulance. Nope, this is completely normal. Let me show you how to pad her. Let me show you how to pad her so that she's not leaking everywhere. Let me tell you what we need to do to properly keep her hydrated, because of all of the fluid that she's losing. We have to replace all of those fluids. So 3 years in the game, we're able to take that knowledge and educate that client and those family members so that they're not having out-of-pocket hospitalizations, hospital costs, or going to the urgent care for things that they don't need to go to the urgent care for. And in the event that, for some odd reason, that you do have an emergency, I had one a few weeks ago. I had a client that had a medication interaction, very rare medication interaction. The only thing we noticed was a rash. My inmate said, hey, she has a rash. I said, okay, let's send it to the doctor. Let's make sure that we're good. Send it to the doctor. He said, hey, stop this medication, this medication, this medication. Boom. Next day, we go in. Guess what? Rash is spreading. It's not getting any better.
What was that, blood clot or something?
No, she had an allergic reaction to her medications, and she was in acute renal failure. Her kidneys were
Kids
failing.
going down, yeah.
So the doctor said, hey, send us to the urgent care. I said, wait, all urgent cares are not created equal. Let me call around and make sure that the urgent cares have the, they have the capacity to take her.
Right.
I found one, sent her over there. I'm checking with her. I'm talking to the doctor. And she's like, Keri, I'm in renal failure. I say, what? You're in renal failure? They're admitting me to the hospital. She was in the hospital for 4 days.
Wow.
Her kidneys were operating at 10% capacity. The only thing that showed up was a rash.
A rash, yeah.
She was urinating fine. Coloration was good. No issues whatsoever. Me and the doctor were puzzled. I'm texting him. He's texting me. We're like, what's going on? Come to find out, rare drug interaction.
Wow.
Super rare drug interaction. If we weren't there to notice the rash, communicate to the doctor what was happening, be able to find her an adequate solution, she could have went to a mom and pop urgent care. They could have given her some Benadryl, sent her on by her way, and then guess what? Now we have something detrimental on our hands.
So I want to talk about that. So, of course, Opulent Care is here in the States, here in Houston. And traditionally, most people is going, like you said, to Columbia or DR, to these houses, right?
Yes, if you're traveling out of the country, you have the recovery homes. But we have recovery homes right here in Houston.
But I'm saying the ones that don't have proper communication, the proper care, the proper medicine, they just watch them.
Yes.
So, why? I want to ask why. Because I never had plastic surgery, so I don't know, and I'm naive, right? I'm naive and I'm ignorant, so I want to know: is the risk better? Like, is the risk worth it?
No.
Okay.
To leave the country for surgery? No.
And why not?
For me personally, when I thought about leaving the States, my husband was like, absolutely not. Not the state, but leaving Houston.
Right.
He's like, absolutely not. If something happens, we need to have access to your doctor. And I'm a worst case scenario type of person anyway. I'm a straight cluster. If something is going to happen after surgery, it's usually going to happen to me time and time again. So my surgeon is right here in Houston, Dr. Kendall Rail. I can reach out and touch her whenever I need to. Mm-hmm. Some people that don't have complications.
Dr. Kendall, I need you on the show. I talked to you a couple of times. I need you on the show, Dr. Kendall.
That's my girl. She's the only person I trust in Houston. I work with a lot of amazing doctors, but she knows my medical history. So for me, it was a non-factor. But for some people, when you think about cost, it costs to have plastic surgery.
Right.
All the surgeries I have, I could buy a nice luxury vehicle with the amount of money I've spent on surgery. And so when you consider the cost of surgery, the aftercare, the nursing, the massage, the money you have to put aside in the event that you have an emergency, if you're traveling, the travel expenses, it gets to be expensive really fast. So a lot of people that may not have the financial ability to pay for someone in Houston, a good option for them is to travel out of the country because it's significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you shouldn't. I'm going to say do your research and make sure that you have a reputable doctor and that you're at a reputable recovery home if that's the option that you choose to go. I think it all boils down to your research and making good informed decisions and knowing what questions to ask.
So how many people on staff do you have to care for an individual?
11.
So you have 11 people there. So they're dependable. They're there.
I started off with just me, and so my staff consists of me plus 11 people.
So let's talk about cost now. Like you said, spoke of earlier, you said, of course, the plastic surgery is expensive, but the aftercare is another price.
The aftercare is another price.
Right. And insurance don't cover that, do they?
No, it's all private pay.
Because it's cosmetic, right?
Unless you're having reconstructive, but the insurance does not cover the aftercare for that.
Okay. So let's talk about, you don't have to give numbers, but if you want to, you can. Let's talk about numbers of, just say, a person who had breast lift augmentation, and a transfer booty and the BB and 360 lipo 360.
That's what we call a mommy makeover.
I'm sorry, all right, mommy makeover.
Okay.
Somebody had a mommy makeover. What would the average cost be for someone to invest in that?
The surgery or the aftercare?
The aftercare.
It would depend on if you're alone or if you're with someone. If you're alone, you can expect to spend a minimum for 3 days, a minimum of about $1,600.
Okay.
Okay, and that's like 16 hours. So that's about like 8 hours the first day, 4 hours the second day, 4 hours the second day, the third day. you can expect to spend about $1,600 for that.
Okay.
And it goes up from there. So if you're coming in and you're by yourself, I've had people that have spent upwards to $18,000 with me for their aftercare. And I've had some people that have spent as little as $800. So the joy of what I do is everything that I do is completely customizable to you. So I don't believe that aftercare is a one-size-fits-all type of situation, because plastic surgery isn't, right?
Right.
So everyone that comes to Opulent, they have to have a consultation with me. And we discuss your medical history, any medications you had, any surgeries that you've had, any complications you have with those surgeries. And then most importantly, your support system. Do you have a support system? Is there someone traveling with you, or are you traveling alone? Because that's basically going to determine the number of hours that you're going to need to care for yourself.
What? So as I'm hearing you speak, I'm trying to figure out, because this is a niche.
Definitely.
Right. This is a niche profession. Right. And you spoke about earlier that you say you was a nurse. Right. What made you even get into this?
So I had a mommy makeover in 2019. Dr.
Okay.
Kendall Rell, that was my first plastic surgery. I had breast augmentation, lipo 360, lipo of the arms, lipo of my inner thighs and my knees, as well as a tummy tuck.
Okay.
Really big surgery. And a lot of us nurses, we think a lot of ourselves. So I was like, oh, it's just plastic surgery. I got it. I don't need anybody. I got this. How hard can it be? Ooh, child, I was wrong. That recovery was rough.
Okay.
It was rough. And my 300-pound, 6'4" husband was my primary caretaker. So just imagine being swollen and leaking, and him trying to put you in a garment that's two sizes too small. It was challenging. And then I wound up with complications. I wound up in the hospital with blood clots, some long-term complications. And I was sitting there and I was just thinking, if I'm like struggling like this with my recovery as a nurse with a lot of years of experience, what are regular people doing? Like, what are they doing to care for themselves? How are they identifying complications? How are they, like, I couldn't urinate. I told my husband, my doctor was like, Keri, just go to the urgent care and just have them place a Foley. Girl, I'm a home health nurse. I have a Foley catheter over here in the closet. I taught my husband how to cath me. I did that at home. Anybody else?
So your husband?
My husband.
He put a
rider,
catheter
baby.
in you?
That's my rider, yes. He
Wow.
did.
He should be a doctor, nurse.
He was doing the intermittent ones, and I said, you know what, we're going to do a Foley.
Wow.
Let me tell you what I need you to do. And so he did that for me. And if it had been someone else, they would have been at the hospital incurring a fee.
Yeah, because I wouldn't, me personally, I'd be like,
I know you wouldn't have done
I'm like doing this.
Right, but Chris, he's
Sorry.
a rider. Shout out to Mr. White. He's my rider. But, in my head, I was like, what are people doing? When I got sick and I had to go to the hospital, I called my doctor and I said, hey, I'm experiencing this, and this. She says, what do you think it is? I said, I think I have a PE. She said, go to the ER. I said, yeah, I was just going there anyway. I'm just calling you as a courtesy. Got there, had to fight with the doctor. You don't present. You don't have this. I'm telling you what I have.
You said a PE. What is that?
A pulmonary emboli.
Now, what is that?
It's a blood clot that has traveled to your lungs.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So when I got there, my stats were normal. I presented normal. And most hospitals don't have experience with plastic surgery patients.
Right.
So I got there. I'm bruised up. I'm battered and bruised. They probably thought Chris was beating the hell out of me. And I'm like, listen, I had plastic surgery 2 weeks ago because I was 14 days post-op. So contrary to popular belief, all of your complications don't happen immediately. This is the importance of education. Okay? Doctor didn't want to treat me. He was like, I'm going to give you a chest x-ray and send you home. No, you're not. That's not the gold standard. This is what you're going to do for me. I contacted my doctor, told her where I was. She communicated with the doctor. I advocated for myself. Anybody else would have been like, okay, well, you're the doctor. You know better. And send him home. And you would have sent me home and I would have been dead. And that's what happened. He wanted to send me home. I said, no, you're going to do this, and this. My doctor, love her, co-signed. And guess what happened? CT scan. Negative. I mean positive. I got blood clots in 3 lobes of my lungs. My D-dimer 3 times normal limits.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm rushed to in the ambulance to the hospital because I'm advocating for myself. If I had not been a nurse and I would have listened to that doctor, or not even known the shortness of breath that I had, the swelling that I had, not even realizing that it was abnormal, I would have went to sleep and I could possibly not be here.
Went to sleep, yeah.
And so that is how I got into the business. That's how.
And you know what? It's hearing that. I guess that's, well, I'm going to say destiny.
That's God.
Right, that's one. And two, you had the education because
the
most people,
education.
like you said, can advocate for themselves. By you having a background and being a nurse, and it's like, well, something is wrong with me. And a doctor, just seeing a black girl who just had surgery, it's like, all right, you good, go
You're
ahead.
good, go ahead. And I'm like, no. And
Right.
I'm like, hey, I'm short of breath. That's normal because you're deconditioned. I'm swollen. That's normal. I had full body lipo, right? I'm in pain.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my doctor that day. I left an appointment. I went to lunch. By the time I got home, I knew something was wrong. Because, I mean, let's face it, plastic surgeons, as much as I love them, they're concerned about how you look aesthetically.
Right.
When you come to them, you should have already had your medical clearances. They're not checking blood pressures. They're not doing temperatures. They're not listening to your vital signs. That's not what they're there to do. They're there to make you look good.
Got you. See, I didn't know that. See, I thought, so now, and I'm pretty sure everybody else, or just me, I thought that the plastic surgeon, since there was a surgeon and they have I guess a license to practice medicine, I thought they do all that, the vital signs, and make sure you're in good health to have the plastic surgery.
No, you have to go through a plethora of clearances before you can have plastic surgery. So for my last surgery in March, I had to see my regular doctor. I had to see my hematologist because I'm chronically anemic.
Okay.
I had to see my pulmonologist because I have the history of blood clots. I had to see the cardiologist to make sure that my heart was healthy.
Right.
So I had to go through quite a few clearances before Dr. Rail would even say, yes, we're going to do the surgery. So everyone is different. That's why it's so important to be truthful about your medical history when you're talking to your surgeon. So if you have sickle cell, tell your doctor you have sickle cell. If you have an issue with your lungs, like, don't be concerned about the doctor saying, no, you can't have the surgery, because you could have the surgery and you could be super cute with nice perky breasts, but you dead.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you have to be able to have those transparent conversations with your doctor. And so with that being said, depending on the office, every office is different. Most offices don't do vital signs. Now, if you go in and you have something going on, like if I would have gone in and said, hey, I'm super short of breath, I have this going on, of course she would have checked me out. But that morning, I felt great. I just said, oof, my ribs hurt. Of course my ribs hurt. I just had lipo 360. She lipoed those areas aggressively. That's normal.
Right.
So everything that I was experiencing was normal and could have easily been attributed to my plastic surgery. But when I got home and tried to lay down on 3 pillows and I couldn't breathe, I said, wait a minute, this isn't normal. Kaylee, my daughter, bring mommy her stethoscope. I took my stethoscope, I listened to my own lung sounds. And that's when I realized, oh, crap,
Abnormal.
we have rails. That's not normal.
Rails is what? It's like a...
It's a lung sound. It's adventitious. So you have coarse and you have fine rails. I had coarse rails. Sound like tires on a road. Your lungs should be just like air. Like when they're
Just
clear,
float.
you should just
Right.
hear air. So anytime you're hearing anything in those lung cavities, we call those adventitious lung sounds. And there's several different ones. But I recognized that one immediately. And I called. I spoke to the NP, Jen. I said, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, and it just went from there. This last time I had surgery, I'm a cosmetic nurse of almost 3 years, and I work for a plastic surgeon here in Houston to keep my skills sharp. I work overnight for him. I still had complications with my last procedure. So it doesn't matter how much education you have, you still run the risk of having complications.
So is that what happened to DC Young Fly's wife?
No one knows what happened with DC Young Fly's wife. I don't even know if the autopsy has been released. I do know that she passed away in a hotel room. I don't know if she had assistance or not. So that is one of the things that is mandatory for our clients. You have to have
Care.
You have to have care.
Overnight, yeah.
If you contact me and you tell me you're traveling by yourself but you don't want overnight care, I will not take care of you from a liability standpoint.
Right.
So you have to have someone there. So do not cut corners when it comes to your safety after plastic surgery, because you just never know. After any surgery, you should have someone with you, because you're under the effects of anesthesia.
Right.
You're sleepy, you're groggy. So like if your sats drop, if you're not breathing, you need someone needs to be checking on you.
So let me ask you this. What is the biggest misconception of an aftercare facility? Because some people have thoughts. Some people like, oh, we need to spend that extra money. We only had a budget to get X, Y, and Z. What are the biggest misconceptions?
That plastic surgery is just the cost of the surgery.
Okay.
people don't think about the totality of the cost. So it's just they don't understand the cost of ownership. So when you think about buying a car, people are like, oh, I can afford the note on the Benz, but can you afford the maintenance?
Or the insurance.
Or the insurance, or the gas, or
Right.
the tires. That's the total cost of ownership.
Right.
So when you think about plastic surgery,
That makes sense.
you have to think about the totality of the cost, not just the surgery. Your surgery might cost you $25K. So my last surgery cost more than $20K.
Okay.
My first surgery cost me more than $20K. People are like, oh, you paid that much? I did, and I'll do it again because I know that I'm safe. But they don't tell you about the massages. You have to have 10 massages back to back when you're a liposuction client, right?
Why? To keep the
To help with swelling, remove all of that tumescent, move all of that fluid out of your system, right?
I got you.
And it helps with your overall results, right? People are like, oh, I just need 10 massages. Now, wait a minute. You got your first 10, but your massages don't stop there, my love. When you travel back to Cali or DC or wherever, Wisconsin, wherever you're from, you still have to have those massages when you get back.
Right.
I'm 3 months post-op. I'm still doing massages 1 to 2 times a week.
Why? Why is that? Because the body is just trying to go back to its normal state, or
Your
what?
body's trying to go back. You're still swollen. 3 months later, you're still swollen. I'm still bruised.
Okay.
You know, I have issues with scarring, so I have to make sure that so I go now for basically fibrosis treatment, which is basically them helping me with my scars because of the surgery that I have. So you still have to plan for extended periods of massage after that. So people are like, oh, I'm gonna go to Miami and have the surgery. Okay, you spent $4,000 on your surgery in Miami, but you still got to come back and pay these people $150 a massage 3 times a week when you get back.
Right.
They don't prepare for those expenses. So making an informed decision regarding your doctor. Are they reputable? Mm-hmm. Do they have any deaths? Are you reading the reviews? Are there pictures, even their pictures on their Instagram? Okay, my surgeon sent me a picture 2 weeks ago of somebody in Turkey that had my before and afters on their on their Instagram page. My before and afters in Turkey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Turkey.
Yeah.
So making sure that the doctor that's performing the surgery, those are their pictures. Do they have assistants that are performing the surgery? Are they working with a reputable anesthesia team? The people that are putting you.
So you got to do your fact check, basically.
You have to do your fact check, and then you have to make sure that you're finding a reputable provider that is providing the care after that. The massage therapist, are they a massage therapist, or were they a hairdresser last week and they went and took a 4-hour massage course? Because that's what happened, a 4-hour post-op course, and now they're a certified post-op provider. Do your research. Credentials and education matter.
So let me ask you this, because I see that, honestly, I'm a businessman at heart. I see that the money is going to flow, right?
Yes.
The future. Mm-hmm. What is the future for Opulent Care?
We have a lot of good stuff happening with Opulent. I've been very fortunate, very blessed. We recently just kicked off our massages, our lymphatic drainage massages. We're mobile, so we're specializing in that now. We just popped off our first suite. A lot of clients that are traveling in, they struggle finding Airbnb spaces that are true to what they advertise. Mm-hmm. So I have a space in River Oaks, right down the street from Central Market now, that are available to our Opulent Care clients. I have some other things that I'm working with a new business partner of mine that I'm not at liberty to discuss publicly at this particular point in time.
It's me, y'all. It's me.
But it's a very a surgeon here in Houston, and we're partnering to put some things out in the community, in the post-op space. That's going to be like completely, it's going to be a game changer.
Okay.
It's going to be a game changer. I feel that in the post-op space, there's not enough regulation. You have people that are just coming in by the boatloads of people just getting into the space because of the financial opportunity.
Right.
I think you're always going to have opportunists that just jump on the bandwagon. And most of the people that are jumping on the bandwagon, they're not even qualified to be on the bus.
Right.
So that's why I always stress credentials and education. If you're staying at a recovery home, who owns the recovery home? Is that individual a nurse? does that individual have medical care? A lot of times people are getting into the industry like me because I had surgery, but I also have the credentials, so knowing who's taking care of you. If they say they are a nurse, are you looking up their name on the Texas Board of Nursing? Are they really a nurse? Because a lot of times people say, oh, my nurse, they're not even a nurse, just having a white coat.
Right.
So, making sure that, whoever's caring for you, that they're safe. And that boils down to budget as well. So a lot of people are kind of forced into these spaces to have people that are unqualified to care for them because they're low cost. Where they're low cost because they're non-medical. They're low cost because they was working at Costco 6 weeks ago.
Right.
So you have to. And I'm not trying to be dismissive.
Yeah, I know what
of
you're saying.
People's experience, but professional experience, licensures, credentials, CPR certifications. Those things matter, and it does drive the cost of your care up.
So, if I'm pretty sure, 'cause in the next year, I'm pretty sure Opulent Care is going to grow about 50%. Right?
Oh yeah.
So, if somebody wanted to work for Opulent Care, how could they get in contact with you? Who do they contact? Is it
Contact me.
So you operate everything?
I have an operations manager that assists me. But I mean, she has access to all of my communications. So, and I still like to be very hands-on. This is my baby. So I'm still directly involved with hiring decisions. I'm still directly involved with training. I still see clients.
Right.
I saw a client yesterday, so I still see clients, not as much as I would like, of course, but I still see clients. So I'm still very, very, very much involved in day-to-day activities for Opulent. So if anybody wanted to reach me, one, make sure that you can an RN, an LVN, or a medical assistant. You can send your resumes to info@opulentcare. That's Kare. So opulent, Kare.com. That's how you can reach me. But we're always looking. We're definitely growing. We're growing 50% each year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because I seen, well, she's not really a celebrity, but she is, but she's not. She is, but she's not. Chad Ochocinco's wife.
That's my girl.
What's her name? Cheryl.
Sherelle. That's
Sherelle.
my baby boo. That's my humble baddie.
Yeah, I saw Sherelle with you, so I didn't know what y'all was together. I'm pretty sure that she was probably getting some type of surgery assistance.
Sherelle has been with me twice, so I do a lot of repeat clientele. I do a lot of high-profile clientele because our high-profile clientele like to utilize our agency because we pride ourselves in discretion.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
All of my employees have to sign a blanket
NDA. Okay.
So they cannot discuss our clients. They cannot take pictures of our clients. If you see a client's photo on my website with their face, it's because I have express consent for that. But most times, even on our Instagram, you'll see their back, their body parts, never their face. We pride ourselves in discretion, which is why we get these repeat high-profile clients. Sherelle came to me she actually did a breast reduction augmentation lift with Dr. Kriti Moen here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually able to care for her for that procedure, and I care for her doing her lipo with Dr. Chamada at Premier Plastic Surgery. So I do a lot of business with them as well. But we do get a lot of repeat clientele.
That's good.
A lot of repeat clientele, and a lot of our high profile clients, we get a lot of their friends in just from word of mouth.
Right.
Just from word of mouth.
That's good. So this is basically pretty much a customer service.
I pride myself
service.
On the customer service.
Right.
So when I did the branding, I was just like, I know how I wanted to feel. I need Nordstrom Sachs feel, but we have to have Chick-fil-A customer service.
Right.
You have to customer service. Customer service means everything, especially in this area, because a lot of our clients are very vulnerable. You're dealing with people that you've never met in person.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at your body parts. Like I tell my clients, "Oh, we together. I didn't see you. Who we together."
Right.
But you have to think about the intimacy of what we do, where these ladies are. A lot of these ladies are like straight up bosses, and they can't even go to the restroom by themselves. So being able to create a safe space for them to recover in, it means a lot to us, and that boils down to customer service.
That's awesome. I like that. And then, at the same time, even though it's a business, but it's black owned, so.
It is.
That's a beautiful thing.
And I'm like, do I even have any minorities at this particular point in time? I think I have two Hispanics.
Okay. That's good.
Two Hispanics. Yeah, that's it. So.
That's good. And in that space, I think how many? You're the only black woman in that space, right? As far as with a recovery home.
No. To be honest with you, you actually have a lot of minorities in this space.
I got you.
Just not so much face forward. And I was actually very apprehensive about that when I started. From a branding standpoint, I didn't want my face anywhere, just being a little like gun shy of putting myself out there as a black female owner of this business. But it's actually very advantageous. It's very advantageous for me.
So I got a slogan for you. Are you ready? Since your logo is okay, you're going to be okay with okay.
I am going to be okay. I'm going to be beyond okay with okay.
Okay means Opulent Care, okay? You're going to be okay with Opulent Care.
That's my slogan. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I like that. I'm sending you an invoice too for that.
Come on,
right?
I got you. Plastic surgery is hard. The recovery is hard from a physical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. And don't get me wrong, I think everyone should come into this space understanding that it's not a long-term solution. You still have to do the work after the fact. But you have a lot of people that come in that have been in the gym consistently, and they cannot change the fact that they are built like SpongeBob.
Right.
They cannot.
Yeah.
So they're going to go find a Dr. Calvin Jung that is a liposculpture specialist to be able to give them the curves that they cannot achieve while they're in the gym. So yes, you have a lot of people that get into plastic surgery because they're like, oh, I'm just going to go have some lipo and that'll help me lose the weight. But, cosmetic surgery is actually a solution for people that have been in the gym and they've been trying to get their bodies to look the way they want them to look. But genetically, they can't because they're genetically predisposed to their body type.
To their body looking a certain way.
Their body type. So I think that's the biggest misconception about plastic surgery. It's like, why don't you just go to the gym? My thought process is don't be mad because you can't pay for it. If we can pay for it and we can go over here and we can get the doctor to give us the curves that we cannot achieve ourselves, then let us do that in peace. I don't think there has to be a war between the gym rats and the people that choose to take this route. I've had a lot of people that come in and they're working out 2 to 3 hours a day and they're still not able to get rid of their mom fupa because they've had 4 kids.
Right. That's real.
That's real. I'm done with that.
Okay, I got you. So that's to all the people that was talking trash about people that get plastic surgery. I get what you're saying, but no, that's a conversation to be had amongst the two. So I told some of my people that are into fitness, I said we're gonna have a conversation. Nice. I said the conversation is going to be a beneficial one because some people believe that. And some people believe in plastic surgery. So, I think the conversation could take place and it could be beneficial. And of course, I'm a moderator,
God.
It could be no boxing. But we're going to do it amongst having shots and shit. So,
I'm going to have shots of water.
Shots of water.
Give me the water.
With a tequila label.
Yeah, right.
Guys, look, I appreciate you guys tuning in one more time. Keri, look, give the people where they can find you, social media, emails, anything.
Facebook, Instagram, Opulent Care, OPULENT-KARE. Those are my handles. info@opulentcare.com. opulentcare.com is our website. You can contact us on any of those modalities.
Got you. There you go. There you have it, guys. Shouts out once again to 605 Infused Beverages. Hit them up. You know what it is. Costly Distinct, Mr. DJKO. Y'all like my shirt. Y'all like my shirt. This is Jimi Hendrix, 1978. I just had to put it on for y'all. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend what you guys have. You can hit me up. I love it. We growing. We just signed a deal. It's coming. News is coming at the beginning of the 4th quarter, so I can't tell you right now, but God is good. Hallelujah. God is good. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys do what you had to do this week. Make sure you guys hydrate. That's an awesome, great thing. And the word of the day is this: care. We want to care.
We want opulent care.
We want opulent care. Opulent care. There we go. That's it, guys. Look, this is me signing off. I love you guys. You can't do nothing about it. Peace.